Hi, welcome back. We're on week 37. This is video 2 of 3. And this week we're talking about team building. So in video 1, we talked about your foundation and team building. We spent a lot of time talking about core values and how you work those into the hiring process and into your job descriptions. In video 3, we're going to talk about hiring quality employees. But in this video, video 2, we are talking about career path. And, you know, we hear from a lot of our clients that they don't think there's a career path that's actually viable within their company, or they don't think that employees really care that much about career path. And I'm going to tell you, you do have a viable career path inside of your organization, and employees do care about a career path, especially if they're millennials. In many instances, employees care more about career path than they care about pay. So, yes, people want to be paid, but really what matters with pay is, am I making enough money to pay my bills and save some so that I don't have to stress about money? That's what matters about money for most employees. Career path is this idealistic view that tells them that they have a future with the company, or that they can work towards something that's going to lead them to a better place, whether that be a better job, more money, eventually moving on to another company. And you have to be okay with that, right? Just because you create a career path and train somebody, it doesn't necessarily mean that A, they're going to leave, and B, it doesn't, if they do leave, it's not always a terrible thing, right? You have contributed to the career of another person and their growth. And that's a really big deal. It's a huge deal, right? So especially if you're an entrepreneur, you're a small business owner, and unless you started that small business as soon as you graduated high school or directly out of college, you probably worked for someone else at some point, and they helped you develop the skills that got you to where you are today. So don't consider it a negative if people might leave at some point. That's just part of the transaction of hiring employees. So having a career path, honestly, it's very important for your business. And it doesn't matter what type of business you have or how big or small you are. There are ways that you can create viable career paths so that employees understand there are options there for them. Okay. Now, you could, let's say that you have a business and you just have a couple of positions. This is how you start out, right? You start by listing out if you could hire for someone to do all of the work that needed to be done, like what are the different roles that you could hire for in your company? So could you put somebody 100% on marketing? Probably. 100% on sales? Yes. Could you have like a back office person who's responsible for finance, or paying the bills and bringing in the collecting revenue from people, and you have somebody who could handle systems? Could you have a process person? Like, identify everything, right? If you are a service company, if you're out, like you are somebody who builds garages for people, like could you have an entry level builder, a mid level, a senior level? Could you also have a lead person? Could you have like a project manager, a supervisor? So you want to think about all the possibilities for roles inside of the organization, right? What do you have today, and what is possible for roles in the future if you continue to grow, or if you were to 2x, 5x, or 10x your business, which we talk about growth strategies later on in we talk about growth strategies, I believe, in 40 weeks 47, 48, and 49. We spend a lot of time talking about growth strategies. So ideally, at some point, you're going to want to grow your business, and growing your business is going to mean when you scale, you're adding additional employees. Typically, not always, but typically you're going to add additional employees, additional roles. So think about that plan, and you don't have to get there today, you don't have to get there tomorrow, but at least you have a path and you have a plan for where you want to go. And that appeals to employees. So you could hire somebody as an entry level, and then they spend 6, 8, 9, 12 months in that role. as long as they know there's a path, a viable path for them to get to the next level, then they're going to be happy. They're going to be excited about the fact that there's opportunity inside of the company. You take, for every role in the company, you create job descriptions, right? So if you have, let's just go with the entry, the mid, and the senior level builders. You have job descriptions for all of them. And the career path, the natural progression would be that somebody would start as an entry and they could go to mid, and then they go to the senior level. Well, all you do is you're creating a path that says, here's the job description for entry level. And if you want to be promoted to mid-level, then here are the new skills that you need to acquire. And it's really just the gap between that entry-level job description and the mid-level job description. And once you've identified where the gap is and the skills that the entry-level person is going to have to learn to become a mid, guess what? Now they're growing and developing and learning new skills inside of your company so that they can be promoted. But they're also adding tremendous value to the work that's being done because they're learning, they're growing, they're going above and beyond, and they're probably doing it maybe through quarterly goals. I remember when we talked about annual planning and breaking it down into quarterly goals for employees to execute on. And that's really how you build high-performing teams. So a career path is very easy to create and execute on if you've got your employees executing the work, and they're not going to look at it as like, oh, these are these extra things that I have to do for my job. What they're looking at it is they're looking at it as this is the ability for me to learn something new so that I can better myself. And they're going to have goals to work through the different roles inside of your company. So career path, a lot of times business owners don't think that there's anything viable there for them that they can do, but there is. And sometimes it just requires getting really creative with the roles that you have today and where you want those roles to get to. And you don't even have to have a huge growth strategy to be able to do that. As long as you've got the revenue to support giving people raises and changing their titles, then you're well on your way to having career paths, and you've got happy employees. So when you've got happy employees, they're working together better. And that's all a big part of team building, right? You will have, for the goal setting, one of the things that you can work on, and we talked about this earlier as well, as remember when I talked about mutual learning, right? So one person trains, another person learns. So if you've got a mid-level person and an entry-level person working together, you could have the mid-level person training as part of their quarterly goals, the entry-level person on some of the skills that they would need to be able to execute on the career path. You're hitting goal setting, you're hitting team building, you're hitting career path, and you're executing probably on the core values of your business where people are working together to improve. So it really is a win-win-win across the board. And the best part is that your customers are really winning because your customers are getting better service or more options because your employees know more and your employees are happier and your employees see a future. So they're getting more consistent customer service as well. Lots of stuff covered here. If you have questions, do not hesitate to reach out. This is a great topic and one that, we really enjoy talking about, and one that we find is the most beneficial for business owners is implementing a career path, because your employees will stay, your employees will want to be part of the team, your employees will help other employees reach their goals. So reach out with your questions, and we will see you in video 3 of this week. And video 3 is hiring quality employees, which all feeds into that team building as well.